Welcome back. Black history has had an amazing impact on the arts, but one theater in the Garden State continues to make history of its own. With me now are Marshall Jones III, Executive Director of Crossroads Theatre Company, as well as actors Stephen McKinley Henderson and Suzanne Douglas, both of whom have appeared at the theater. Take me back now. I want to go back some 30 years at least to the roles of many African Americans on stage, who were still, you know, at that time were very stereotypical roles. How did the founders of Crossroads really start to change all that?
Well, Lee Richardson and Rick Kahn were the founders, and they were students at Rutgers. They graduated and didn't really like the landscape and opportunities that they saw. So they wanted to create their own venues, and the vision was to be able to give an honest portrayal of the African American experience.
Okay, Stephen, you've appeared in a number of roles. I'm just going to go down the list. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, A Raisin in the Sun, on and on. In fact, on Broadway, off Broadway. Also, but why is a theater like Crossroads, why does it have special meaning for you, especially an actor like yourself? I mean, you know, you're the big time.
Well, yeah, but you don't start out the big time, okay? So I can remember just dreaming about, because I'm from Kansas City, so I can remember wanting to get to New Jersey and get to be a part of Crossroads Company. And Harold Scott, my dear friend, who was a director there and also at Rutgers, who knew when Rick and Lee Richardson were dreaming about Crossroads. And was it Eric Krebs who gave him the last Cedar grant to get the company going? So I was always wanting to get to work at Crossroads. And then I got a chance to do it with August Wilson, which was, I mean, then, you know, I mean, come on. It was a dream. It was a dream. And
I got a chance to see you there. Oh, yeah, my goodness. Yeah. In fact, we have a picture of the theater. Of actually, you actually brought with
the
you
model
today,
of the set.
The model of the set, and that's where I saw you do Jitney.
Yes.
What was it like? And tell us about the role you played.
Well, yeah, well, I played a terrible busybody who's in everybody's business, and you know, it's a brilliant role that August wrote. I mean, he just wrote this fabulous character role, and it was such a wonderful ensemble. Anthony Chisholm, who's also, you know, New Jersey, and Paul Butler. It was this wonderful group of actors called together to do it, and we left Crossroads and we went to NJPAC. We did the show there. We did it at the National Black Theater Festival, National Black Arts Festival, Freedom Theater in Philadelphia. But Crossroads is where we put it together. And you know, if you don't, one of the special occasions there was a benefit that they had at the Hyatt to honor Lionel Hampton, and Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee came to see our show that night, and they were to go to the benefit later. But after they saw the show, and they said, well, we'll see the actors at the benefit, and they said, well, no, the actors won't be attending the benefit. So Ossie and Ruby said, well, then we're staying here with them. Aww. And they called out for pizza and food.
A good time was had by all.
And we had this wonderful audience with Ossie and Ruby, and it was a joy. So that was a Crossroads memory among so many others.
And someone else who has embraced New Jersey, Suzanne, my goodness, you have also starred in some great films like How Stella Got a Groove Back, and in television, The Parenthood. Yes. As an African-American woman, too, tell me what kind of barriers that you've really seen broken down, and of course, many that you've really helped break down yourself.
Oh, there have been many barriers broken down, many, 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 and our sisters like Ruby Dee and Mary Alice have been at the forefront of breaking down those barriers, and I humbly walk in their path. And it's been a joy just being able to work in New Jersey. Hollywood's great, film is great, TV's great, but being able to go home and spend time with my family and still do what I love to do is really great. And you get a great combination of that, being able to just go down to New Brunswick and be on the stage there and just share that experience at Crossroads.
But what has always been your inspiration? I understand you were inspired since, what, age 9?
Oh, even younger than that, age 5. Oh, you've been reading my bio. Oh, my God. Do you really want to know?
I do want to know. God. The viewers want to know.
Oh, my goodness. Actually, it was my mother took me to see a film, The Sound of Music. And I saw Julie Andrews, and I thought I was Julie Andrews, and then I thought I was a nun. And what inspired me was that she was escaping the Nazis, and I grew up in the projects in Chicago, and I was escaping my own little personal demons there. So that inspired me.
Do you think that Crossroads still has a responsibility, especially in the African American community?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you asked that question because Rick Kahn, the founding artistic director, in 1978 he had a vision, and now because things have changed and the situation has changed, we see more of that honest portrayal of African American culture. So he's taking Crossroads to the next step. We're celebrating our 30th anniversary next season. So in trying to position Crossroads for the next 30 years, what we're looking at is the intersection of the African American culture with the world. So we're doing plays that cover the whole diaspora of the human experience and looking at it from an African American point of view.
So when we talk about the future too, do you all both see to a good, bright future, especially for minority actors?
Oh yes, I mean, our people have a very deep well of talent, and the young artists of all sorts are always going to be coming and changing things and arriving on the shoulders of giants and going on. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to be lacking,
And you've got a reading at Crossroads.
Yes, in May we'll be doing a reading. But I've actually been down in the Genesis series. It's a part of a reading series that they do at Crossroads. Joe Morton directed me in a one-woman show entitled Harriet's Return, a wonderful one-woman piece. We should revisit that, possibly, at Crossroads.
And, of course, Fox has something going, too, I understand. What about a series, New Amsterdam?
Yes, that's
oh,
Stephen.
yeah, I'm very fortunate to be a part of a Fox new series called New Amsterdam, and it's delightful. It'll start, I think, March 4th. There'll be a preview, and then it'll be showing on Monday nights starting March 10th. And so I just encourage you all to watch.
Just one last question. A behind-the-scenes look. What do you think we'd find most fascinating at Crossroads?
Behind the scenes? Well, the most fascinating thing that I see, because I guess I'm behind the scenes, but I love seeing our subscribers. We have people that have been a part of the theater for 30 years. They've raised their kids coming to see our shows. Our shows have really had an impact on who they are today, and they come to the shows and you see the pride. They will say, oh yes, I remember when we did that show, or that show was one of my favorites. It's really very, very personal. So that's kind of unique for me, but that's probably not what you wanted.
Oh, definitely what I wanted, because it's unique for all the community, really, because all of the community can share in it.
Absolutely.
Thank you all so very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Next, one dance group keeping African culture alive for the next generation. When Real Talk continues, stay tuned.